Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us. This is podcast number 8 of the DXB podcast from Directxbox.com. It's been a slow week in news, so this will be kind of a different podcast. We'll hit news really quick, and then we're going to get into some, I call them deeper topics. We'll see how many we can get to, but we have a list of these that we want to try and touch on when we have time, when it's a little slower in the news. So I'm joined by 5 others today. I'll go ahead and let them introduce themselves.
So I'll start off then.
Yeah.
I'm Landshark, aka Scott.
Hey, I'm Bobby. Gamer tag is CabinTerror.
Hey, I'm Michael, gamertag MWJW.
Average gamer tag, average gamer guy. And this is Aldrin, gamer tag Mortimus.
And
With an O.
yeah, M0 Mortimus. Mortimus is joining us in place of Carnal in this podcast. Carnal's apparently worn out from a day of babysitting, so we'll suffer through Mortimus today. And
Wow.
oh yeah, thanks for joining, Mortimus. Mortimus will probably be kind of our primary fill-in or alternate. So anytime someone's gone, Mortimus, assuming he's around, will probably be a sort of our backup. So you'll probably see him around quite a bit as long as he wants to keep doing it. So before we get into the news, want to point out we do have a Twitter account that Carnal has been sort of manning the ship, I guess, and sending out a lot of tweets to get followers. Feel free to follow us. It is at Directxbox Forum. Note that there is another account out there that's at Directxbox. That's not us, and you'll know that pretty clearly when you go look at that. It's at Directxbox Forum. So go ahead and follow us there. As we get more and more followers, we'll start using it more and more. All of the mods will have access to it. We'll put news out there. We'll put links to various things, and hopefully we'll use it. We also have a YouTube account. I believe it's just go to YouTube and search for Directxbox, and you should find it. We've had all of our podcasts on there, thanks to MW. And hopefully we'll start using that more as well. I know Average does a lot of video stuff, so we'll give Average, if he doesn't already have it, the credentials, and he can start going and doing some stuff there too if he likes. That's about it for the forum. Not a lot new. We're all kind of recovering from the crazy week of E3 still, so we'll go into real quick what we're playing. Not a lot of new stuff's come out, so this will probably be pretty quick. I'll go first. I have only been playing Watch Dogs, and I beat it last night. I did not 100% it or anything. I have decided that I'm not going to because I don't want to hate the game. So I beat it. I enjoyed the story. I'm not going to spoil it for anyone. I know I'm one of the last people in this group to actually beat the game, so felt kind of left out. Ending was pretty good. I wouldn't call it shocking by any means, but it was a good ending, a fitting ending. It wasn't anything that irritated me or anything. So I highly recommend, if you're still playing it, to actually get through the story and beat it. You can always do the side stuff afterwards, so don't burn yourself out on that stuff. That's my one recommendation. We'll go in the same order for the introductions. I also been playing Lego Marvel Superheroes with a friend, and that game's a Lego game, so I enjoy it for what it is. There's not much more to say about them. I mean, if you enjoy the Lego games, you'll enjoy this one. It is kind of cool. I will say I cannot believe how many, and I'm only maybe 10% of the way through, the amount of Marvel characters they pack into that game is astonishing. Like, even in 10%, I've probably seen no less than 20 different like Marvel characters. It's ridiculous. It's just bang, 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 bang. Marvel characters all over the place. So they don't just focus on one or two. They're everywhere. What have you been playing, Landshark?
Pretty much on the Xbox, a lot of Watch Dogs, actually. I'm trying to burn through the campaign and then go, like you said, I'm going to go through the campaign and then go back and do some of the side stuff.
Yep.
Other than that, I'm playing lots of WildStar still. That's pretty much all I've been playing.
Yep.
Although, do you want to mention the Steam summer sale is going on, so that might change for me soon.
Yeah. I don't want to spoil Watch Dogs for you, but Aiden dies at the end, so. I might be telling the truth, or I might not. I'm probably not telling the truth.
Oh.
Or maybe I am.
Trollolololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololololol
No, that's it.
Yeah, I've just been playing Watch Dogs too. Yeah, I just recently beat it in the past week. So yeah, I thought it was pretty good. I don't quite know if it's better than the sum of
Did
its
you just
parts.
teleport from the front yard to the backyard? That was pretty cool. Like Portal 2 style.
What?
And that's all I have to say about that.
What?
So, you forget to mute your mic there? Or you're having some other alternate conversation we're privy to. All right. You're up,
How am I
MJ.
going to follow that? I can't teleport to the yard. I mean, all right. So we finished up Watch Dogs, got 98%. I got as far as I'm going to get in the achievements. Let's put it that way. Last one is Social Lubricant, and forget that. I don't have the time or the patience like Carnal does, and I applaud him for his lack of anything else to do, apparently. 98%. I beat everything. I'm done. To trade it in next week. Get my $40 where I can still get my $40 on it. And then we've picked back up some of the DXB guys have picked up Battlefield again. So we've been playing a good bit of that. We even got some people that hadn't had it or played it before to go out and get it, like Carnal. And we got Monday Monkey to go back out and pick it up. So we've been playing a little bit of that on and off. It's still frustrating. It's still broken, but it's less broken. So there's that. And that's about all I've been doing.
All right.
Let's see. I've been playing Watch Dogs. I beat it a long time ago, but I'm still playing through it. I am playing also Dragon Age Origins, playing a little bit of Child of Light, playing Tomb Raider Guardian of Light.
This article just got released today. Perfect timing.
Yeah.
What's that?
I'm gonna read through
There's
it.
something else that I've been playing. I played Dead Rising 3 recently. Battlefield 4, a little bit of Titanfall, some F1 2013, and that's about it.
All right.
That's a
Jesus.
long list.
Are you mashing on your
Could you
keyboard,
beat
Landshark?
your keyboard anymore? Harder,
Or
Landshark.
do you have like a secondary mic or something
I don't
going? 'Cause
understand,
we
like-
can hear like everything going on in your life.
We hear everything.
I think I can hear your thoughts.
And you shouldn't eat that again.
Is it any better now? I don't know what's going on.
I
Maybe
guess.
there's another mic that's on.
Yeah,
or
do you have
something,
like
I
a
don't know.
second mic, like a computer mic that's on or something? I don't.
I don't know. I reset up my headset a second time to see if that changed anything.
All right, we'll let you know. Yeah, we heard your conversation about
Yeah,
portaling and.
I had no idea.
All right, so that's about it. What we're playing. That was everyone, right?
Oh,
Or no, Mortimus.
I
Yeah, we
guess
want to
I'm
hear
not,
from
I
Mortimus.
guess I'm
Sorry.
not playing anything.
For some reason, I thought average was.
Mortimus.
All right, go ahead, Mortimus. What are you
Wow.
playing?
I feel so welcome. I am playing Battlefield. I would say about 80% of the time. A little bit of Forza and a couple games my daughter actually has on her Xbox One, so I got them for free because I have the home console. So I'm playing a little bit of Rayman and a little bit of Lego, The Hobbit, whatever game with the little, yeah, those guys. So that's what I'm playing.
Nice. How was Lego the Hobbit? Or is it basically just a Lego game? Lego
You
Marvel.
know, I love Legos. I grew up with Legos. I love Legos to death. But that game has a lot of Legos in it. I mean, there's so many things to break and destroy. You can spend 20 minutes in one little area just breaking things and getting the little gold things. So I'm playing it in bits and pieces because I will get fried on that in no time.
Yep. Yeah, what's worse? The worst thing about playing a Lego game with someone else is if they're a completionist and they have to get the 100%. for every level,
Oh God.
and you're trying to move on, and they're like back there breaking every tree. It's just like, oh god, let's go. We don't need to do that.
Things to do.
Yeah, you can. There's free play. We can always go back and play it. All right. So, yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what we're all playing next week, because not a lot comes out. I guess there's a couple of them to come out. We'll get to those. So,
Battlefield.
yeah, we'll be playing a little bit of Battlefield. There's a couple actually. We'll skip ahead
Titanfall if we get
since
bored.
this came up. So, this one game came out this week on the Xbox One that I wanted to bring up, and that's Outlast. I believe it's $20, right, on the
Yep.
Xbox One. I don't, it's nothing new added to it or anything like that. It's just the same game that you probably played on PC and or PS4. It's now out on Xbox One. Not a lot of advertising or anything like that about it, but it is there. I've never played it. I have it on PC. I bought it on Steam for really cheap and haven't had time to actually pop it in. But I believe Landshark has played it. He can give you a quick yes or no should you buy it.
Yeah, I'm not really big into like scary horror game type stuff, but I picked this one up just kind of on a whim on the PC, and I've enjoyed it. I'm not sure how far I haven't beat it yet. I'm not sure how far I am into it, but it's been pretty good. It's a different experience if you haven't played many of these games where you don't have anything. There's no combat, so there's no way to fight back, which changes the way you approach the game a bit because you're not really like guns blazing. You're not really sneaking around really. But I don't know. It's hard to explain, but definitely fun. I liked it a lot. In fact, I made a review video on it and all kinds of stuff, which I'll post up on the forums later, probably tomorrow. But I would recommend it if you're looking for this for the price. Definitely worth it for the $20. I think it's worth it. I believe it comes with the Whistleblower DLC as well,
Yeah.
if I'm not
Yep,
mistaken.
I think it
I
haven't-
You have to buy that separate,
it is separate.
but
Okay.
it's there.
Oh, okay, never mind. I
It's
haven't played
there.
that part yet.
Alright.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I could give you a review, but without going into review stuff, I think it's worth $20 if you're looking for a scary game that's best played at night in the dark.
All right. I'll probably have to give it a shot, or we just finally play it on my PC. My collection of Steam games just slowly grows. Never play anything on it.
Mhm.
So, and then, has anyone else played that? Average, have you played Outlast? For some reason, I feel like that's a game you would have played.
I have not.
Okay.
If it wasn't first person, I probably would.
Ah.
I don't know. I can't. Too many first person games just don't do it for me. So I've watched a lot of people play it, and it looks like a good game. If you can enjoy it from the first person's perspective, I just don't think that I could. So, but it does look like a good game.
Fair enough. On the same lines as that, there's a couple games coming out this week.
Valiant Hearts.
Yes. That also, I believe RBI Baseball comes out, unless they changed it. This is, as of today, IGN. I know it's Average's absolutely favorite site, IGN. According to them, I did some other stuff. I think RBI Baseball is slated for tomorrow. And then Valiant Hearts is, I believe, on Wednesday. For some reason, I believe Child of Light did the same thing. It doesn't release on Tuesdays for some reason. It's Wednesdays. I don't know why, but whatever.
Yeah, our XBLA games or whatever you want to call them now, they all come out on Wednesday. I don't know why that is, but they do.
Yeah, which is weird since they all want to lump them into games now instead of arcade games. Just release them on Tuesday, please, like everything else. But yeah, Valiant Hearts is probably the bigger one. I don't, some of us might pick up RBA Baseball. It's the only baseball game on Xbox One, or will be the only one. But I think Valiant Hearts is probably the one we're looking more forward to. It's made by the same team as Child of Light. It's the UbiArt game. It looks very story-driven. I've kind of purposely not read too much about it. I've just seen some of the trailers. It seems to be extremely story-driven. I don't know if I've even seen hardly any gameplay from it. So, who all here is getting it this week at least?
Me.
You're getting it?
Me.
Average.
Yep, probably Friday.
Are any of you other three getting it?
Yep.
Mortimus, MW?
I'm thinking about it,
I might check it
I'll
out.
probably get it.
So maybes.
but I'm also interested in
Yeah.
Sniper Elite.
In what?
If you need to see it
Sniper
first.
Elite.
Oh yeah, Sniper Elite.
When does that one come out?
Um,
Is that next week?
Is it the first or
So like the first
it's
week of July,
either
basically.
the first?
Okay.
Yeah.
I think it might be the following Tuesday, maybe a week from tomorrow. We're recording this on Monday,
Oh,
Monday night on the 23rd.
well
We could look it
that'll
up.
give me enough time to play Valiant Hearts. So
Yep. So looks like we were split. So we have 3 yeses and 3 on the fences. So at least some of us will be able to give you our thoughts on that one next podcast. And then, yeah, as Kevin said, Sniper Elite comes out in a week or two. We have some news regarding that, which we'll get to later. And that's part of a whole nother side piece of discussion. So we won't go there yet. They announced the X1 launch lineup for the Japan launch, which is in September. Here's me doing my research again.
September?
Is it September? I thought it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Okay. I've questioned myself. Thanks, Marcus. The way you said that. Yeah, September. A lot of them are the games we've all been playing. There's a few Japan exclusive games that I can't even begin to explain to you. They could be really popular over there. I highly doubt they'll ever be popular here, or maybe a lot of them won't even probably release here. Does anyone know any of the names of those offhand? The ones that they announced. They did announce a handful of Japanese developed sort of exclusive games, and there's a couple like visual novel type of games from Mages, I think, or something like that.
Yeah.
They're not up my
Dynasty
alley.
Warriors is in there though.
Oh yeah, Dynasty Warriors is a 7 or 8, something like that.
8.
Is it 8? Yep. So that's the newest one, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Psychopaths is one of the digital novels.
Yeah.
Hmm.
It's a good show.
Yep.
I've
So
watched it. It's good.
Yes, it is good.
It-
You have good taste, average.
I watch anime, but I don't get super into it, and I don't follow it, unfortunately, on like a news basis. If it's there on Netflix, I'll probably try and watch it. But so I don't know. If you're into it, hopefully some of them will make their way over here. They'll find a way to get them. We'll just have to see.
Well, it is region free, so you can pretty much get whatever you want.
It is true. You just have to make
Just a
Japan.
matter of yeah, just have to make your console, your Japan, your home country or whatever, and hopefully you can read a little bit. That would help with playing the game, but
Yeah.
So it'd be very, very interesting to see what happens when that thing launches. Typically, I don't think Xboxes have even launched very well there. It's not like they sell great for a day and then they don't sell. They just historically have not sold on day one or after. Supposedly, according to a couple retailers over there, pre-order day one editions are selling out. But then at the same time, in that same article, they say that some of the retailers are cutting prices already. So we'll just have to see. Wait for the numbers to come in on that one.
well, I mean,
It
you
is.
can go.
It is
Hang on.
still number 2
Yeah.
on the list.
What was that average?
I was gonna say you can go right to Amazon.com/JP and look at the list. It'll show you what's number 1, number 2, number 3 in video games. So you don't even have to worry about believing a retailer or one of the sites that I don't trust any of them.
How?
So I just go directly to the source.
My only question on that would be, how big is Amazon in Japan? I mean,
Huge.
is it huge there?
It's huge.
Okay, I wasn't
Still
sure if it
huge.
was.
Yeah.
I know it's huge here, obviously, and we can kind of use their sales as guidelines, but I didn't know if it was as big as it is here in Japan. So,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're big over there too.
all right. So we'll probably be talking more about that as it gets closer to launch, and probably the week or two after launch when some of the early numbers come in, and we'll see. Hopefully it sells well. I think it would be hilarious if it outsold PS4 in the first couple weeks. Will it? Probably not,
It'd be
but it
hard.
would be a hilarious talking
Wouldn't
point.
take
So,
much either.
hey, the PS4 sold great for a day. And then
So
it
all,
just kinda
all
fell off.
Xbox has to do is sell well for 2 days. Oh well.
We'll see. I don't know how much they've allocated to Japan either. That's a whole other thing too. Is we don't know if they're going to try and saturate the market, or if they're just saying, you know what, we're probably not going to sell a ton, so let's only send so many there and send the rest to other regions. So, who knows?
Yeah, of course, when they launch over in Japan, they're going to be launching worldwide too. So
I'm sure we'll get more details as we get in there. So, anything else regarding the Japan launch? Now that we know some of the games.
uh, I know they're making a really cool riding game, which will sell well over there. But
Is that how it's pronounced? It's Raiden, not Raiden.
Raiden, I don't know.
I don't know either.
I think it is Raiden.
I have no
It doesn't
idea.
matter.
I don't even know what the game is. When I hear Raiden, I think of Mortal
Side-scrolling
Kombat.
shooter.
So that's the only Raiden I know of. So, all right. That's honestly pretty much it for news. There's a few other news pieces, but they're tied to some other topics, or some larger discussion points. So, unless I missed some smaller things, does anyone have anything else that they remember reading or they want to bring up? I'll take that as a no. And that shows you how slow this week really was news-wise. I mean, it's probably going to be this way for a couple more weeks, and then it'll gear up as it gets closer to August and into sort of the Gamescom stuff, which I think is in the middle of August, if I remember correctly. So the PS Now beta pricing. For those of you who have PS Now, are you in? Or I guess that's only one of you. Mortimus, are you in the PS Now beta?
No, it wasn't available in my region to
Oh.
begin with, and I'm not sure if it is now.
Are you going to be able to get it when it goes full launch, or is still going to be region specific? Do you have any idea on that?
They said it was covering the entire
US.
United States,
Okay,
so
so
I should be able to get it. But it's not. Personally, I'm not interested,
Okay.
especially after seeing their proposed pricing
Yep.
program.
And that's the topic here. We've seen some screenshots and people have been talking about the pricing for this PS Now. For anyone who doesn't know what PS Now is, I know a lot of us people who listen to this are more Xbox fans than PlayStation. PS Now is basically their streaming service where you basically can rent games to play via streaming. I believe they're starting with PS3 games, and then we'll slowly incorporate older games, PS2, PS1, and I think eventually, are they going to offer a way to rent PS4 games? Is that even on the table, or is that something they're not looking at?
I don't think so.
Okay, so it's
No.
it's more of an emulation streaming system. I guess it's not emulation. I don't know how they're doing it in the back end, but you'll be able to play older games, PlayStation games on your PS4, and I think they might be looking at bringing this to PS3 eventually, but I could be wrong on that.
Yeah, they are.
They are,
They
okay.
are planning on PS3.
Okay.
And PlayStation TV and like Sony Bravia TVs and stuff, right? Like later on.
Yep, it's going
Is
to be
that
built.
like
That's what
into
they're
their-
talking about.
Yeah, the big old.
yeah.
If their TV business doesn't shut down first.
Yeah, does it end up like the Sony Vaio computers?
Yeah.
Well, all of that is moot once we actually go over the topic because
Yeah, you'll see if anyone even does it when we talk about this. So let me pull up the pricing here. The one that I remember is basically, and I believe the game that was in question was it Final Fantasy X-2? Is that what it was?
They're all about the same.
Yeah, this was the one
price,
screenshot
but
that I
yeah,
was thinking of.
13 too.
Is that what it was? So
Okay.
the price that we saw in this screenshot, and it was an official, screen. It wasn't some Photoshop thing. It's a known thing. It's $5 to basically rent the game. I don't know how they do the timing, but it's 4 hours. $5 for 4 hours to rent a game that you can probably go buy right now.
$17.99
There you
in
go.
plastic.
Yep. And
Brand new.
my initial thought was that's insane. If it was a brand new game, a $60 game that just came out and you could rent it for 4 hours for $5, sure, makes sense. But a game that you can go buy brand new for $17, in the plastic is not even a used game, is it? At that price, so it seems a little
No, it would be brand.
steep in my books. I know there's a few people out there that are defending it. I have a feeling none of us are going to defend it here.
No.
Yeah, I'm getting.
No, there's nothing to defend.
Yeah, I'm getting a PlayStation next month. I'm surprised my girlfriend ruined that for me, but she's getting me one for my birthday. So, I will probably never use this because that's ridiculous for pricing. So, I can go rent games at Redbox that are brand new for $1 a night. Or what is it, $2 a night or something like that for games. I can't remember what it was. But that's a whole night, and yeah, I have over 24 hours to play it. So, Mortimus has already said he's not interested. Is there anyone who is even remotely interested in this at this pricing structure?
No,
All right.
Before you said
No.
that last part, I thought about it.
it's
You should
ridiculous.
mention the rest of the pricing though too,
Yep,
like
I'm gonna
the 7
pull it
days,
up
30
right
days.
now. Yep. Let's see.
So is there a subscription price too, or is it just the
No,
Nope,
No.
it's
No.
yeah.
it's
a
per
la
game.
carte?
Per game.
That would probably make it more tolerable if you could pay, 60 or 70 bucks a year and have unlimited access or something like that. But as far as I know, they don't
Even
have.
then,
At this pricing structure, there's no way it'd fuck.
So
Not even at 120.
here's the rest of them. It's funny. It's only $2 more and you get 7 days. How you go from 4 hours at $5 to 7 days at $7 is I have no freaking clue how they
Yeah.
how they managed to go from that to that. But and then 30 days would be $15 or $14.99, and then 90 days is $30. So if you go a little on the higher side, yeah, they're a little better. Still, these are used games that you can own for a hell of a lot less than $30, most of them anyway. This is actually Deus Ex, is the screenshot that I'm looking at specifically. Sorry, Deus Ex: Human Revolution.
you can. Well, here's the other part of that. You can play them with no lag. You can play them without worrying about your ISP calling you and telling you that you just streamed 40 gigabytes of a game for the last 8 hours and that you're going to be charged $50 for every gigabyte that you go over from that point forward. Like, there's too many other caveats. On top of, you have to have PlayStation Plus in order to play it. So guess what? It's another $50. So it's not just $4.99 for 90 minutes or whatever the price it may be. It's $50 plus $4.99 for 90 minutes or
Yep.
whatever the case may be. So there's a lot of added cost to that people are not realizing while they're trying to defend it. And then I heard someone say, well, it's a beta, so those are probably just placeholder prices. Those placeholder prices are being charged to those people in
Yeah,
the beta.
exactly.
So call it what you want to. Those people in the beta have to pay that price, and that's not. It's ridiculous.
And maybe they will change for the better. I can't imagine they'll change for the worse because they're taking up the backlash on the prices right now is pretty strong. So I would be surprised if it
I
got
can't
worse than what
imagine
they are.
why.
Yeah, I can't imagine they get worse, and it's just a matter of how much better they get or if they stay the same. And I just looked up Deus Ex on Amazon, and you can get the director's cut Deus Ex: Human Revolution new from Amazon for $15.99. So 16 bucks. Um, you can rent it for 30 days for about that price. So, yeah.
Well, MW, I think it was, brought up a good point too. When you're done with it, you can go and trade it in on something else.
Yeah. It might not be worth much, but dear God,
It's
come on.
I don't want to call it a scam, but these
Because it
prices
is.
these prices
Because
are
it is.
pretty damn close to being a scam, especially on the low end prices.
Not,
30 days and 90
not to
days.
mention
I don't know.
what happens if you start that 4 hour or that week. Oops, your internet went out.
No,
Now what?
I don't know for a fact on
The
this.
same thing that happened.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh,
Sorry.
sorry.
No, you're good.
I was gonna say the same thing that happened to the people that pre-ordered The Last of Us at $59.99, and then thought that they were getting their $10 back when Sony decided to drop the price. You're going to eat it. That's what's going to happen.
Well, they reversed that, by the way, finally.
Did they finally
Yep.
reverse it?
One of the
That backlash had a lawsuit attached to it.
Yeah.
I mean, but that's the kind of things that you have to pay attention because there's been a track record of that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. They do it.
Mhm.
They let people eat it. Because Sony can do no wrong. Oh, they'll fix it. We'll just go along with it until they fix it, and then you continually get messed over or fucked over or whatever, and then finally somebody files a lawsuit, and it's okay. We'll do it. It happens all the time.
Yeah. Well, the other
So-
thing, like MW brought up, is when you pre-order a game digitally through PlayStation, why the hell do you pay for it all up front?
Yep.
That doesn't make any sense to me. Why not just charge it at midnight?
Only place.
Charge it
Yep.
at midnight for the price it is at launch. Maybe you have
Or
to
when
put
it
$5
ships, yep.
down, but it's not like you're reserving a physical copy. your payment information is there. If something changes in your payment information or you get a new card number, then it just sends
Yeah,
you a message saying, hey, you need to update your payment info because we couldn't charge your card. Every other freaking site in the world does that.
Yeah, it's
It-
their
what?
sneaky way to get some operating capital.
Yeah, why is it that every other site doesn't have a problem doing that? Amazon does not charge your card no matter what it is until after they've processed the order. So your money sits there and sits there, and then it goes. Why is Sony any different?
Well, shit, even GameStop, to reserve a physical copy, it's only $5 minimum to put it down. You don't have to pay for the whole game up front. You know, it's
And if you
Or
pre-order
online.
something online, it's free.
No
It
money
doesn't
down.
cost fucking money.
I have an order for $1,300. The pre-order
Yeah.
that I didn't have to put any money down for, that I'm not going to be charged for until one of those games ship. And it's only the game that ships that I get charged for, not all of them, because they're all in one order.
and you can cancel them at any time with no penalty.
Exactly.
So it's in a lot of their policies, and you know, for all of people that want to say Sony is pro consumer in a lot of their policies, there's a lot of their policies that are just asinine and way behind the times, and this is one of them. The fact that it's written in there that you can't get a refund for a pre-ordered game is, if it's not out yet, I'm sorry, I should be able to get a damn refund if I want. You know, that's every other place does it. You know, I don't know.
Yeah, what if you lost
Well-
your job? What if, shit happens to people?
Yeah.
Well, what
I
if-
think it's just backwards.
What if it's The Witcher? And it's supposed to come out in October. Now it's not coming out till February. And I decide, you know what? Now I want to get Dragon Age. You're telling me that I can't get another game because you have my money tied up into a game that's no longer coming out?
Yeah.
Like, it does not make any sense. It does not make business sense, because people always change their mind. Consumers always change their mind. They never, ever commit to one thing at once, because something else always comes along. So you cannot lock a person's money up and tell them, yeah, you can get that game. We don't know what the release date is, because nobody knows what the release date is for a lot of games that are still coming out. But I can buy it now, and you're going to take my money now. What if they cancel production on the game?
Yeah.
Are you still going to hold me to that no refund? Like, come on, man.
Hashtag YOLO.
Oh, God.
It's-
Oh, why?
yeah. I feel like this podcast just circled the drain right there.
As usual.
Yep.
Yeah, we could sit here and rail on Sony all night. I think, as far as some of their policies, it's stupid. They need to get with the times. They have a lot of stuff that you can't do, or is very limiting, that is very anti-consumer. You know, as much as the perception they want to give is not that case, that's kind of the case in a lot of their things. So time will tell. I mean, this is still in beta, so we'll see. Average brought up another good point. Is, I was really hoping someone in here has tried it. I would really like to know what the lag is like, and how long is the beta going on for? Does anyone know when it's supposed to launch
I
live?
think
Well, if it's anything like home until the PlayStation 5 comes out.
Well, I think it's indefinite until the service actually launches, to be perfectly honest.
Do you have any idea when the
Um,
service is supposed to schedule to
they
be launched?
didn't
They
know.
didn't say. Okay.
They have not said.
Well,
They just said 2014.
okay. Well, I'll tell you what I'll do. When I get my PS4 sometime in, right around my birthday, July 18th. Mortimus and I share a birthday, by the way. I always like to bring that up. So when I get my PS4, I will try and get in the beta if it's in my area. I haven't looked yet, and if it is, I will try it. I'll shell out the damn $5 for some fucking game, and give it a shot and let you guys know
Just
sort
make
of
sure it's
how
a
it
game
works.
you're going to notice lag on, not something.
Well, pretty much any action type of game or shooter or something like that where I can get a good idea.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna go rent like a, what is it called? Those movie games, Beyond Two Souls or something like that.
Oh, beyond, yeah.
Oh, God.
Where only the input lag would freaking matter in that game. But
Actually, that kind of would. I mean, they have all those quick time events. You
QuickTime
screw
events.
up a quick time event, and bam.
God of War would be a great one to try, because you have the combination of heavy action plus the quick time events, which towards the end, I mean, you got to be spot on your timing on those quick time events.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll see. Hopefully, it's available in my area. I live in a pretty big market right around Minneapolis. A big city at least. So I'm hoping that it's in my area. But if it's not, it is what it is. I'm not gonna cry about it.
I
'Cause
believe they were testing New York and San Francisco because they're the biggest markets, but it may have rolled out to more. That was
by
when
that,
it
yeah.
initially went out. I know those were the two.
Hopefully by July they've rolled it out. So, or I'm sure
Yeah,
we'll
if I
hear more
remember
about
right,
it.
they've added markets.
All right.
They've added 3 to 5 more markets.
Well, time will tell what it is. Right now, it seems to be kind of a wasted feature and not worth the money. But we can move on to something else. Does anyone have any last thoughts on that one? Or any other Sony policies I'd like to bring up while we're on the subject of bashing Sony right now?
Well, it wouldn't be so easy to bash Sony if they would just release some first-party games, but until they do that, oh well. And
That
sorry, indies
leads
don't
right
count.
into
What's that? I'm sorry.
I said that the average's comment led right
Oh,
into
yeah. Well, I missed the chance for that. Nice transition. I was deep in thought there, thinking about some of their policies and stuff. I don't know. So, next little talking point we have is Yoshida, who I believe is he the CEO or president? No, he's the president of something, isn't he? Is it
President
Sony?
of Sony Japan.
Yeah, not just
He
the
took
gaming
over
division. So.
for Kaz Hirai.
Okay. MW, I think, posted this in the forum. I'll let him explain it more, but it's basically just him making some comments regarding AAA games versus indies and what to expect. Do you have the quotes handy, MW, or the exact quote?
2 seconds, and I'll have it up. I posted it earlier in the week. Like, literally, this was posted up right about the time that.
I have it in front of me here. I can read it real quick.
Go right ahead.
Paraphrase it.
I want to read it
Yeah.
exactly so I don't put words in his mouth. Because I'm gonna rail on it a little bit. So
These weren't his words anyway. He was speaking Japanese.
yeah, same difference. I would assume that he would have a pretty reliable translator. So
Fair
it says, we've been saying that the number of AAAs might be getting smaller because the cost of development for AAAs is getting higher. But there are so many indie games and great games coming out almost every week or every other week. We're seeing it on PS4. I hope you're seeing it as well. And that's it. So
That doesn't sound promising.
yeah, it's
No.
even if that's the case, yeah, we get that AAA development's getting ridiculous. I mean, look at the cost of Destiny. 10 years ago, would Destiny have cost $500 million to make? Well, first off, you couldn't make it 10 years ago, but you get what I'm saying. AAA games,
I don't
big
know. For
scopes.
$500 million, you still could have made the game. You just couldn't have sold it to anybody.
It's development costs are going way up. We get that. It's in the news quite often how much games cost. But if you're trying to sell your console to hardcore gamers right now, and that's really who's buying this console right now, not a lot of truly casual people are buying any Xbox Ones or PS4s right now. Not until the price drops down significantly. Coming out and just telling everyone not to expect much in the quantity for AAA games, probably not the smartest thing to do. I wouldn't do it personally. Like, this is something that I would have anticipated Microsoft saying maybe a year ago. When they were going through their awful PR situation when Don Matrick couldn't keep his mouth shut. This is something I fully would have expected them to say. Oh yeah, just buy some indies. We'll don't worry about the AAAs. But it's an interesting comment. I mean, it is what it is. I don't know. What do you guys think about that?
It's somebody without any money trying to pacify a user base that will have his head if he doesn't say anything like that.
Oh yeah.
That's all it is.
Well-
I don't have the money to invest in these big games that we promised you would get on the PS4. So I want you to take a look at these thousands of little games that we're going to release that you probably could pick up on Steam, like 70% of the other people have done and never played them, or on your iPhone or your Android device. but because it's on the PS4, it's going to be better because everything's better on the PS4. So be happy. That's what he said.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, the thing is, when I originally read the article, okay, yeah, I mean, it makes sense. You know, you had to kind of come out and say it. Some of the people were starting to catch on. Your loyal fans are going, "Hey, where's our games? You promised
Mhm.
us
Fight
not this
Club.
delay." And he was explaining also the delays. You know, we saw a lot of the stuff that was supposed to come out, like Drive Club, like The Order. Um, God, they were supposed to have at least twice as many AAAs by now, and they never came out. And he was explaining a little bit of that too. He says, "Well, you know, it just takes time." And I think this was an extension of that. Oh well, they're coming, they're coming, they're coming. Be calm. No,
Greatness
no,
waits
no, no, no.
and waits.
And waits,
Yep.
and waits.
Uh,
And I've said that for a while. Sony is not good about getting their games out on time. So they've got to have something to come out and say, but there is something to do. Well, you wait, don't trade this in, please. Please, we have more coming. Well, we can't, no. Um, but honestly, it's the summer lull. There's nothing really great new to play every month or every week. So it's going to be slow on both sides. So I think he was just trying to get ahead of something that is eventually going to roll over them, just like on the PS3 it did.
Mm.
Uh, you don't have the money to spend, well, might as well tell people now, I guess.
I think the better option would be
Well,
just to
stop
not say
investing.
anything.
Shit.
Yeah,
That
I
or
don't know
stop
why they
investing
opened
your
their mouth.
money into ad campaigns that make people think that games are only available on PS4, like Destiny and some of the other ones. If you invest that money into your studios, maybe they can get their games
I
out for you.
I would really like to see after this game launches and after everything breaks down, I'd like to see how much Sony actually gave out. We're never going to figure that out. But dear God, I've never seen someone go um, like Bungie has to uh, multi-plat, and then just they're not getting it. They're not ignoring Microsoft. They're just not talking about them. So call that whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah. Well, you could blame
It's all
Activision for
Sony
that.
all the time.
That would be a
Yeah,
publisher thing, not
that's.
Bungie. I know people are ripping Bungie for abandoning their Xbox roots, you know? This is all
Oh no,
Activision.
no.
Guaranteed this is an Activision thing. It has nothing to do with Bungie. Bungie signed up with Activision. Activision funds this. And when someone's giving you
And
$500 million to spend on a video game, you pretty much do whatever the fuck they tell you to do when it comes to that kind of stuff. They tell you not to talk about a specific version, you don't talk about that version. So it's Activision being Activision. So
sure.
Hmm.
Um, I think that's a terrible idea on both sides. I mean, if you have a multi-platform game, talk about both versions.
yeah.
That's kind of a fucked up deal. I don't care how much Sony gave you. The check's gonna bounce anyway. Who gives a shit? But
I guess I have less of an issue
you,
with it.
you shouldn't.
So
I know. I don't have a problem with exclusive content or timed DLC like a lot of people are having. What I have a problem with is you don't say, "Hey, we have two versions," or you know, this version is still great, and there's all this. They've pulled down. Bungie has pulled down multiple tweets talking about Microsoft. Come, go get your Xbox One and pre-order Destiny while you do it. Those were pulled down. I don't know whether they were pulled down by Bungie or Sony or by somebody yelling at Bungie. But
Yeah,
still, that's pretty fucked up.
eh,
it's the appearance that there is not a Xbox One or Xbox 360 version that's disheartening to me because as Bungie, as a company, as Activision, regardless of how much money someone gives you to give you exclusive content, at the end of the day, that game is only going to be as successful as many people have it in their hands and are playing it. Everyone does not game on PS4. Everyone does not game on PS3. and Activision is doing themselves a disservice by allowing Sony to let them portray the game as only being on PS4 or not showing the game on other platforms. Let them make that decision.
Mm.
But Activision making them make that decision for them is not. It's just
Yeah.
it'll put a bad taste in your mouth, and it'll make you not want to, you know.
Well,
I don't necessarily say make you want to not buy the game because of it, but it'll definitely make you look at the developer and the publisher a little bit differently. Like, okay,
yeah.
Well, yeah, I think it definitely lowers your interest. Like, I think I can speak for myself on that because I've definitely lost some of the hype for Destiny, and I think like just subconsciously it's because they never really mention Xbox. They never
yep,
say, this is your Xbox experience or whatever. You're just kind of left in the dark about it, and I'm kind of like, well, there's other games, that they are giving attention to.
Well, if it wasn't for, I know Bungie would still treat Xbox with respect. This was Valve doing this. Yeah,
We don't care about Valve
he
here.
ain't got he ain't got a decent shade in him. But I would worry about the quality of the Xbox game. Now with Bungie, I'm not worried about the quality of the game or the support we're gonna get. It'll be on par on all sides. I don't like that they're not talking about it, but I know the quality will be there and they'll support us and they'll listen to the community on the Xbox side, and that's fine. So I'm not worried about it. But if it was any other publisher, yeah, I would look away from the game. I'd be like, well, we raised you, we gave you all this money to make you a grand company, and you leave and you don't even want to talk to us anymore? Fuck you.
It's
Bye.
it's easy to be irritated, but this could have just as easily been the opposite. I believe Activision, is as much money as Activision has, thanks to Call of Duty and stuff, uh, they wanted some help funding this game. I don't know how much Sony gave them. It could have been fairly small, but when you're spending reportedly up to $500 million on a video game, I think any help financially is welcome. And in the end, I don't think it's going to affect the sales of the Xbox One version. This game's coming out at a time when most gamers aren't going to have both versions anyway, or both systems anyway. They're going to have one or the other at this point. In September, most gamers aren't going to have both. So if they want the game, they're going to buy it for whichever system they own at the time. I don't think anyone's going to buy one system over the other for this one game at this point. Um,
right. If they know it's there, that's the issue that we're talking
yeah,
about because
anyone who's interested in
we know
Destiny,
because we're online, but we know because we're online.
yeah, but
We're not talking about us. We're talking about those commercials where Destiny comes up and all you see are PlayStation commercials. We're not talking about the people that go to IGN, GameSpot, any of the forums. If my sister or my wife or my mother was to watch TV and see Destiny commercials right now, they're all PlayStation commercials. You don't see
Yeah.
Destiny talked about anywhere other than PlayStation. So in their mind, they're going to think it's a PlayStation game. If I sent my wife to the store to get Destiny, she's going to think it's on PlayStation. That's the issue.
yeah, but anyone who has an Xbox One, it's going to be on your dashboard day one, saying, "Hey, buy Destiny." It's
Right.
it's not like it's hidden. It'll be there. I just don't think it's going to affect
Hmm.
anything in the end. It might.
Well, it may not, but it's the perception. It's
Agreed.
the perception that the game appears to be on one console, and the fact that the publisher is allowing that to happen when it's a multi-plat game.
Yeah.
Like
It's
that's the
Yeah.
issue.
genius marketing. I mean, it's for as much as we hate Sony and the way they do things, it works. I hate it. It
Yeah,
works,
it
Well,
does.
and it
well, here's the. Go ahead.
I was like, it could have just as easily been the other way. Microsoft has more money, and maybe they could have even given more money for this. My guess is they were probably given the chance. I highly doubt their first stop was, "Hey, Sony, you want to fund this or help us? Or get through this
Actually,
exclusive
I
video
think
deal."
Sony jumped at the bit.
They could have. I don't know. But
They've
what I'm
been,
saying
they've been,
is
they've been
Microsoft could have
toting.
too. And if Microsoft really
They have.
wanted to and thought it was an issue, they would have done it. And they didn't. So my guess is Microsoft basically said, "It's going to sell the same on our console regardless. We don't care. Go ahead and waste your money on this marketing, because in the end, it's not going to matter."
Well, Sony's came out and said this will be the game that sells PlayStations. This will be their #1 exclusive.
which is stupid. They never said exclusive. Don't put words in
Oh
their
yeah,
mouth.
they didn't say exclusive.
They said this will be this will be a
They're
system seller for the PS4. They did never said exclusive or implied exclusive. They just said it
Well,
would sell
it
PS4
is.
systems.
They did say exclusive because it is exclusive in Japan. It is exclusive to Sony in Japan on PS3 and PS4. They are releasing a white PS4 just for Destiny. It's a third-party game, so they are investing a lot of money in Destiny.
Yep.
Hmm.
Whatever. If it backfires on them, that's hilarious. If it works for them, then I guess it was a smart move. So I think the game's going to sell phenomenal regardless of the system. It's going to sell a shitload of copies.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting to see the sales on that game because I have a feeling it's one of those games that over 50% of all people who own an Xbox One or a PS4 are going to pick up this game within the first month. It's going to be interesting.
Well, the thing really is it'll sell either way, but marketing works every time, or else they wouldn't invest the money into it. I'm sure they've went through the semantics. I mean, look at Batman. Batman always sells better on the PlayStation. Why? Because they get all those stupid fucking maps no one gives a shit about with Joker and this time Scarecrow and whatever. Assassin's Creed usually does better on the PlayStation. Why? Because they get those one little maps. That's it. That's the only difference. If you look at both the versions, they are perfectly parallel. Ubisoft does a fantastic job. No difference. Except for those stupid little nothings. And this is the same way. Same way with Call of Duty on the Xbox and PlayStation. Always sells better on the Xbox. Why? We get the maps.
And better online.
Well, that's a difference that the publisher themselves can't help,
Well,
But
something Chanogram was kind of alluding to was also the idea that I don't think Microsoft really wanted to battle out the image of Bungie from Xbox gamers, because Xbox gamers are already familiar with Bungie. You don't need to sell Bungie to Xbox gamers. So I think they probably felt their money could be better used somewhere else rather than trying to, take over the PR marketing scheme or whatever, and let Sony do what they want to do.
Yeah, and that's fine. Like I said, it's at the end of the day, the game is going to sell. It has a lot of people already following, a lot of people already excited for it.
Mhm.
It's Activision, so it's to be expected from Activision. But it's still, in this day and age, it's still sad to see there's that type of advertising where you're
Mhm.
willing to alienate an entire user base of people that you know are going to buy your game. Um, and the people that will potentially buy your game for that system, if you would just tell them that it's coming for that system instead of running a game and saying, oh, it only looks like it's on PS4, but it's really on Xbox. Okay, run a commercial, prove it to me. Because, like I said, you don't even see Xbox packaging. Like, even if it said PlayStation, but at the bottom of the screen said also available on Xbox. Like, remember, they used to do that in commercials. They
right.
used to, be a PlayStation commercial, but if it was a multi-platform title, it would still say also available on later on in the commercial. Like, you don't even see that for Destiny. So I'm just disappointed that uh, Activision is allowing that to happen, considering how popular some of the games that have been on Xbox 360 and Xbox and some of the other places have been for them. I know money is the root of all evil and it rules everything, but you're potentially losing money by doing that because you're not advertising to all parties interested. So
Yeah.
Interesting. Staying on that same track, they did. I think it was IGN. I think they actually confirmed that the DLC was going to be exclusive for a year.
yeah, 13
Um,
months or something like that.
then they went back in, and Activision pulled back that statement. Like Bungie confirmed it's true,
Yep.
and then Activision came back in and said no comment. No, it's not our place to comment or something. So that means Sony didn't like that message. Time to pull back.
No,
Yeah,
Sony. It
they have
wasn't a
their
matter of who
collar.
didn't like it. My guess is it violated their terms. So there, I guarantee when Sony paid them money, whatever the amount was, there was some pretty damn strict rules on what they could and what they couldn't do.
That's got to be the most pathetic, sad fucking thing I've ever heard of.
Depends
I
on,
wouldn't have taken
man.
that
It
poison money then.
it sucks, but you also got to look at it from Sony's point of view. Say they invested 30 or 40 million dollars into this game. If you invest 30 or 40 million dollars into something that's not even necessarily your property, you're going to put things on there. I'm not saying it's right, but if you're going to invest that heavily in it, yeah, you don't want to advertise for the other thing, and it is what it is. So I'm not mad at
You,
anyone
you
for it,
could have went.
but
You could have went to any investment firm and said, "This is our project. This is what we want. This is what kind of money we need. Will you help us?" And they would have gave you a less restrictive term than that.
no, if it was that easy to
You
fund
can't
games, I
talk
think you'd
about
see
the
a lot more AAA
DLC.
games. So I don't think it's quite as easy as you're saying it is. There's lots of games that don't get funding or struggle to get
For
funding.
sure.
So
Could this
it's
be
not
a
that.
telling of how
But
desperate?
nobody's Bungie.
I was thinking it could be telling of how desperate Sony really is to like have some kind of solid AAA game.
Yeah. I mean, they might want to make this look more and more exclusive. They start talking time for that DLC instead of it's always going to be ours. Then that kind of points out to the fact that, oh, it's only this DLC that you still have all that full game. Besides, it's going to be armor you're going to replace in 5 levels anyway.
Well, I'm thinking more along the lines of what Bungie and Activision talked about, what they're expecting to sell of this title. It almost sounds like Sony's putting all their eggs in one basket because they know they're expecting X number of copies to sell. If they're a lead platform, they're looking at X number of, I mean, it's like they need this money or else, so they put all their money into it, advertising and tricks up the sleeve and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's
Just
a good point. Like, what other
Bungie.
games
My
are
thought
coming
on
out
Bungie's though
around
is
that
that I
time?
mean the only reason Bungie exists today in the capacity they do is because of Xbox and people who have bought their games on Xbox over the past like 8 years or longer.
Yeah. Well, you could have been playing a Halo RTS on the Mac, and I'm sure that would have sold millions. But no. Um, I definitely read an article. This guy was blatantly very pissed off. Don't buy the game. Tell them how you feel. Send them angry messages. The whole other end of the spectrum. Um, from kind of understanding to full anger. It started out respectful and that just went downhill real quick. But and I was with him through the respect part, and then it just started going downhill real quick, and I was like, "Ooh, not buying your game." That's where I would stop. Sending you angry messages, mm, threatening your family, not so much. You need to calm down. But he was upset that they were ignoring Microsoft, whether money or not. It was a disrespect matter. It was we paved your way. We bought your games. We stuck with you through everything that you've done. Why would you do this?
That touches
It's not
on
about money. It was about respect and
that touches to me on the entitlement thing of gamers in general. I don't want a developer's respect. I want them to make a good game. I could care less if they respect me or not. Make a good game, release it.
But that's the thing. If they respect you as a person and as a gamer and as a community, they make better games. They don't put out shit. Because then that goes into against their whatever. And like I said, I was with the guy. I thought, maybe they did deserve, to treat Microsoft and Xbox a little bit better, money or not. Maybe not take the full terms that Sony laid out of can't talk about the DLC, can't talk about time, can't talk about Microsoft, can't put an X down at the bottom of our ads.
Then they're blaming the wrong person. Like I said before, getting mad at Bungie. The only thing you can be mad at Bungie for is signing with Activision for this. That's the only thing you can be mad at them for. Everything else, I guarantee, was done by Activision. I don't think Bungie had a whole lot of say in this deal with Sony. I really don't. and that's part of why they get a lot of their tweets taken down, and they're breaking the rules either unintentionally or intentionally to try and appease the Xbox fans, but then they get them taken down. They're breaking rules. I don't think this is Bungie. I think this is all Activision. So I think people's hatred and irritation right now is aimed at the wrong person or wrong group of people. I really don't think it's Bungie's.
No,
I think they made a
Activision
I think
doesn't
they made
have
a mistake.
Twitter, so
And it very well could just be, maybe for all I know, Activision was the only publisher who was willing to invest the amount of money that Bungie needed. Maybe Microsoft, well, they probably didn't want to group with Microsoft again. There's a whole reason they left. They wanted to be more independent and probably split. But then I don't
think
think
they
EA.
would take a second look at it now. With Don gone, I think Don was a lot of the problem. I think he wanted, Halo after Halo after Halo, and I think they wanted to move along. And I think Phil would be a little bit more open to that now.
But they did.
Guess we'll find out in 10 years.
They signed with Activision. That's it. I mean, that's the.
Yeah.
There's nothing we can do now. We'll just wait for the game to come out. So my guess is the games will be damn near on par, other than the exclusive content or the timed exclusive content, and
Servers.
we don't know what they're using though. We have no idea if they're using
Good
our
question.
servers. So until they tell
Excellent
us that,
point. But I'm
I'm not. They're
curious
not going
about how that.
They're not going to use. I don't think they're going to use Microsoft servers. I really don't. I think they're going to use
Curious
their
how
I'm sure they
own.
invested a lot of money into their servers,
Yeah.
and they're going to want to use them.
I think they're going to want to use their own because I would think they want a little more control over how they want to do them. I know they have control over them when Microsoft does them, but at the same time, I have a feeling they're just doing their own servers. Similar to most third-party games. Most third-party games that are multiplats do not use Microsoft's servers for whatever reason. Coding, time of coding.
Really
Yeah, we've never really heard any comments on that, actually. People are like, oh, well, this is how much we can do with the cloud, but nothing ever comes of it. Call of Duty, we heard, Call of Duty was supposed to be on the servers. They're gone. They never said a reason why. Battlefield was thinking about it, and then for parity reasons, they pulled back. And then that was it. We've never heard from any other publisher why they're not using this free service. And as far as I've seen in the contracts, it's free.
Could be too early in the development cycle for game-wise. In the content.
Sure, true. But
I think it's just a matter of resources. It costs a lot to run your own servers, but at the same time, it's less coding. I mean, you'd have to code a whole different way of handling the server side programming if you're coding it for two completely different. You're coding the PS4 to run off your internal servers and then running a whole nother version of the game to run in a game as heavily online as this. I just think they probably. The game's already massive. My guess is they didn't want to undertake something else like that. Maybe they'll be on Microsoft servers, but I have a feeling it's not going to be. I would be shocked at this point. So it's
sure.
a game that would be nice to see on the servers because I think it would be more stable potentially. But then again, Battlefield would have been more stable, and they chose not to as well. So I don't know. I want to get off this topic though. I think we've spent enough time talking about Sony, honestly. So, we touched. I want to go up to the next topic. This day one patch. Kevin mentioned Sniper Elite 3. It comes out in a week or two here. It was announced. I believe it was today. It might have been yesterday. There's going to be a day one patch that's going to be 10 gigabytes. If you get the retail disc version. If you download it digitally, I think it's included. Like the version you download already has all the replaced files, and it's like a 19 gigabyte install. You install from disk, it's a 20 gigabyte install plus a 10 gigabyte download that replaces, give or take, 14 gigabytes of data or something like that. It's goofy. It ends up being like a 19 gigabyte total install after you download and install the update. They detailed a little bit of what was in it. They didn't really tell us exactly why. From the wording, and I'm not going to go through all the wording because it was a long article, I got out of it that they flat out said they're still working on the game. They put the game out to manufacturer for printing the discs, and they're still working on it, tweaking things. I have a feeling this is a big change to the engine, possibly related to the relatively recent XDK update. I think they are tweaking some things engine. There's no way a 10 gigabyte patch is just for small stuff. It's 10 gigabytes. That's bigger
Yeah.
than some freaking games. So I have a feeling they're upping some of the visuals potentially, and they did say it is going to run at 1080p. So I have a feeling maybe they using the extra little bit of power there, that they recoded some things engine-wise to make it run a little smoother and look a little better. That could be completely false, and it could be something completely unrelated, but 10 gigabytes is not minor stuff. That's a huge patch. So I think it's the biggest day one patch of any game to date. I think Forza was the next closest, and that was, what was that one, like 6 or 7 gigs? I think day one for Forza.
I can't remember.
I can't remember what it was either.
It's been kind of long time
Yeah.
ago.
Yeah, it was a ways ago. But yeah, like I said, if you're gonna buy digital, it sounds like you're not gonna have to worry about it. It's just sparking some debate across some of the communities out there of people are mad that developers are creating this trend of releasing unfinished games. I'll give you my quick viewpoint of it, and then I want to hear what you guys think. It doesn't bother me other than it's a huge download. It's 10 gigabytes that I'd rather not have to waste my bandwidth on, or wait to download to play the game. I don't know if it's even playable before you download that or not. Maybe not online. Maybe you have to, maybe you can play single player without it, but you have to download it to play online or something. I don't know. But I don't see it as an unfinished game necessarily. It is, in this day and age, people want constant updates. They want things to be fixed right away. They want all this stuff, but then they get mad about a day one patch. It's not the days of completely finishing a game or getting it to a point where it's as bug free as they think it's going to be. And let's face it, those old games weren't always bug free. Are gone. They're constantly working on it. The development doesn't stop when they release. It's not like they release and then go on vacation for 3 weeks. They release and they're still bug fixing. They're still doing what they can to make it better once it hits the masses. So that's when a lot of those bugs creep up. Doesn't bother me other than the sheer size of this one. Seems a little odd, and a little harsh. But I don't really have an issue with it, I guess. I know a lot of people do. I'm curious to see if you guys are, which side you fall on. Because I don't think there's a lot of middle ground here. I think you're either okay with it or you're not real into that thing, and you're kind of angry that they don't spend more time and just delay it maybe a month or something like that. What do you guys think?
I think it's the environment that a bunch of entitled, gotta have it my way gamers have developed, and that they're going to have to live with, because that's what you get when you're constantly bothering developers, asking them questions and demanding information on a game that's not finished instead of letting them work. It's also a a result of a business model, not only in gaming but in all of electronics now, that as long as we get it out and we know that people want it, we can fix it later.
Yeah.
Because your phones, 9 times out of 10, when you get it and you take it out of the box, you have to update it. Your computer, when you get it and you take it out of the box, 9 times out of 10, you have to update it. It's just, it is what it is. And most of it is, like I said, it's because consumers have bred the companies that way to let them know, hey, as long as I want it and as long as you say you're going to give me what you're going to give me at the end, I'll take a half finished product. So they're going to keep doing it until we tell them to stop, or until we stop bothering them with nonsense in the middle of production so that they can actually get their work done.
Yep. Before anyone else goes, real quick, I do want to clarify my viewpoint. I don't lump Battlefield 4 as an example into this. I'm talking about games that have patches and are actually playable at launch, and then just keep, you know, I, when I'm talking about, I'm not talking about purely on. I mean, Battlefield 4 was atrocious at launch. That I'm not okay with. But games like this, what sounds like this is happening, and kind of what Average was saying, those are the ones I am okay with. But Battlefield 4 does not get a pass from me on this. That's the other extreme. So I make that clear. I'm not okay with the Battlefield 4 launch. So who else is gonna go?
Yeah, I definitely think it's a slippery slope, but I'm someone that likes the updates. I like to know that the game's continuously being cared for, and like if they can make it better, make it better. Like I don't know what world these people live in that they don't get it, like this offline world where they just get a completed game, because that hasn't happened in a long time. But it's a slippery slope because I can understand nobody wants to be like essentially in a pre-alpha or something, like get such an early game that it's, not even like worth the money,
Battlefield 4.
so. But yeah. But I guess I'm more along the lines of I like the updates. Update the game if you have to.
Mortimus or
Um,
MW? I say Mortimus hasn't talked forever.
yeah,
Wondering,
Mortimus hadn't
let's
talked
make
for
sure he's
about
still
20
awake and
minutes,
hasn't passed out
so
on us. If we hear
You know,
snoring,
the conversation was so enthralling that I just forgot to speak. You guys are doing such a fantastic job. I'm right with Kevin on this one. I mean, to me, it lets me get the game, lets me know, hey, look, they're improving this product for me. It's better now, and maybe they'll have more patches that'll make it even better in the future. It keeps me interested in the game and wondering what's going to happen with it. We've all gone to our My Games and Apps tab and said, oh, damn, look, 6 games I own have had updates. I'm going to go check out what's different about them. The games that I'd put down for a while, I'll go back into and end up playing for hours because it had an update, and I don't even know what the hell the update was for. So I like it. I like knowing that the product I spent my money on is being refined as it goes. It's just not a one-stop anymore. And we see it. Battlefield's a great example. What was a completely broken mess is now only a
half
slightly
broken mess.
slightly broken mess.
So, would you like another 30 gig patch? Too bad.
all right.
Dear, so I don't have a problem with patches. I like patches. I don't like broken games when they relaunch, which kind of sounds like what this game is.
No, they were very clear that this is improvements, not fixing broken things. So I don't think this game is broken. I think it's purely they're just trying to make it better.
Well, how could it be broken? Because if someone buys it without internet, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Or if they don't have the
I
Xbox Online, they should still be able to play the game.
Well, then they're
Right.
not online, so we're not going to hear them bitch. It's like if a tree falls into forest and no one's there to tweet about it, did it really happen?
Exactly.
This
But I'm
to me,
assuming that
yeah.
that the game itself on disc is
Sure.
going to be operational.
Yeah. From what I've read, this does not sound like a Battlefield 4 issue. This sounds like a Forza issue where they just didn't have time to quite get everything ready and on the disc. That's what it sounds like to me. And Forza was playable technically before the download if you wanted to play offline, but the patch, download all the Drivatar base stuff and some of the extra stuff. So that's what it sounds like to me. But and that could be wrong. We'll see in a couple weeks. So I'm curious if anyone buys it physical, pop it in first, disconnect it and try. I want to see if it works. So
If I do end up picking it up or getting it later on cheap, we'll let you know. But no. I don't like broken games being shipped. But if you're going to update it to add more stuff for free or fix things or whatever you got to do to make my experience longer, better, faster, stronger.
Wow.
Sorry. Anyway, went off topic. Then that's great. Go ahead and patch that in. I have an internet connection that is unlimited. Now, those that don't, those that have a data bit or a data byte bandwidth cap, or maybe they really have very bad internet, I feel bad for them. But that's kind of the world we live in. Maybe you need to go out and tell your ISP to shove off. Demand more out of them, like Mortimus did, which is awesome.
Yeah.
all right, Landshark, any thoughts?
Sure. So I don't care about day one patches if the game itself without the patch is not a buggy mess. It's broken. You bring your point about bandwidth is kind of interesting. I don't have a problem with bandwidth here or bandwidth caps or speed of internet, but I do dislike having to wait extra time. Like, ooh, the game just came out. Oh, I got it downloaded, and no, I didn't because I got another patch to go through. That's kind of annoying.
Hmm.
So I'm not really too disturbed by it as long as it's not as long as the game isn't broken without the patch, I'm okay with it. So,
All right. Any last comments, or did anyone else's comments make them think of something else they want to add? All right, moving on. Uh, we'll probably revisit this, by the way, so I'm sure this isn't the last big patch. So I'm curious to see later this year, maybe when all these games come out in rapid fire, and we buy 3 games on the same day, and each one of them has a 6 gig freaking day one patch. Maybe we'll revisit this, and we'll all change our mind and say it's ridiculous. So it'll be interesting to see as we get more and more games released, how we feel about that and what the trend really is. If this is actually a trend or just this specific case. We do have some other topics I want to get to at some point. I'm going to save a couple of these, so I don't want this podcast to be too long. So we'll save a couple of those for next one. I'm sorry, Landshark, we didn't get to the one that is near and dear to
no,
your heart, but it's
okay. I was gonna offer to delay that one anyways.
yeah, it's
okay.
not going to go away. That issue is going to be there forever, and we're not going to tell you guys what it is necessarily, but we'll probably fit it on the next podcast. I have a feeling there's not going to be too much in the next podcast news-wise either, so we'll be able to fit a few more of these in. I do want to get to one last one though, and this is, that we have some time, I want to sort of let us share stuff about ourselves and games and how it all works. How our experiences with gaming in general, so people can get to know us just a little better. The people who don't, aren't in parties with us all the time and get sick of us. I'm surprised people actually still come and join our parties, honestly. Especially when with people come and join MW and Mortimus and I and everyone else. They still come. So, but this topic, I'm curious what everyone's favorite game series is. It doesn't have to be, I'm gonna set a minimum. It needs to be at least a 2 game series. It could be as many as 8. If you're a Dynasty Warriors fan or something like that. Whatever it is, your favorite series of 2 or more games. What is it? And briefly, why is it your favorite compared to any other series? Try to limit it to just the one series if you can. If you really have some close second or a third, feel free to at least name them. Does anyone want to go first? We don't have an order for this or anything. Mortimus, you're first.
Okay, here we go. My list is very challenging because there's so many great series that I could bring up, but I'm actually gonna keep it to 3.
All right.
I can't pick one.
Try to pick one that you want to spend more time on, and then name the other 2.
Okay.
Yep.
First off, you guys all know I own multiple consoles, so I do have to give a quick nod out to the God of War series because I do enjoy it. I like the character, I like the mythology and everything that goes with it. It's a very fun series to play through if you like hack and slash type games. That's my PlayStation pick for best series. Xbox gets a little complicated because Halo is, of course, extremely near and dear to my heart. Amazing series. But then we also have Gears of War, which I probably have some of my fondest memories of playing with friends on. So I know this may go against everybody else, but I'm actually going to pick Gears of War because of the memories and friends and great times I had playing that game. Not just multiplayer, but the co-op as well in the later portions of the series. It's just a friggin' blast. I'm not going to pick Tiger Woods PGA Tour.
Nice. All right. Who wants to go next? Cabin, you were starting to talk. Do you want to go next?
Yeah. There's so many ones that I want to say, but because of the fact that I don't like every single game in the series, makes me not want to say it. So like Grand Theft Auto, I would want to say, but I don't like Grand Theft Auto 2 necessarily, and there's some other games like that. But I think it's kind of short right now, but I think I'd have to go with Fallout, just because I enjoy Fallout
Yes.
1, I guess I
Good
don't.
choice.
I enjoy Fallout 1 a lot. And then just with what Bethesda did with it with Fallout 3 and just kind of putting their own spin on it, I really enjoyed the new take on it. I'm looking forward to the next one. So yeah, I can get lost in that game like crazy. So that's my pick.
How does one get lost like crazy? Curious. You
Well,
have
I mean, you
to.
can get lost in that game. I mean, it's just like so many like
Yeah.
random like hidden side missions and stuff.
That's why I stopped
Like
playing,
Skyrim.
because
Yeah, it's like
Oh.
Sky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have open world game ADD, focused in games like that. So
Exactly.
I've talked about that
Exactly.
before, so I won't get into that. Was that's it then? Then right? Fallout is your series then?
That's my pick. Yeah, if I had to pick one. Yeah.
All right. Who wants to go next? Average, MW, average. You want to go?
You just opened up a can of worms.
Yeah.
Everything.
I would love for someone to pick like the most obscure series that none of us have ever heard of. Let's
I
hear it.
mean,
Persona.
I could say two series as well, and I don't have to go into great detail about them because they kind of speak for themselves. But um, Tomb Raider and Resident Evil.
Resident Evil.
When I speak of Resident Evil, I'm talking about Resident Evil 0, 1, 2, and 3. Um, and then just about every Tomb Raider game except for the one that released on PC. And I think that was Angel of Darkness or some shit like that.
Activision. Yeah,
Yep, that one.
that explains it, don't it?
That one blew. But Resident Evil was the very first game that I bought on my PlayStation. Bought it without a memory card, so I would never had the chance to save until months later. But I would still play the game every day, knowing that eventually I would die and have to start it all over again.
Mm.
Um, but Tomb Raider, even though Resident Evil was the first game I bought, Tomb Raider was the reason that I bought my PlayStation because I knew it was coming out, and it was one of the first go where you want to go type game. It wasn't open world, but the world was that big in that first
Hmm.
Tomb Raider game. Um, and I mean, yeah, I had been gaming way before that on Nintendo and Sega and stuff like that, but there weren't, except for Final Fantasy, there weren't that many series on those old consoles. It was just, one hit wonders, kind of like the 80s, you know what I mean? Just Bionic Commando was good, Russian Attack was good, Tecmo Bowl was good, but you didn't really have a established series, you know what I mean? So
Tecmo
once the
Bowl came out with a couple of them.
yeah, but I mean it's a sports
Ah,
game. You don't
sure,
count
sure.
that.
You don't count Madden?
No, hell no.
Bah.
Hell no.
Maybe you don't, but there's some people that might. I'm just saying.
And no offense to anybody that does, but Madden hasn't changed since 1992, so whatever. Um, but yeah, Tomb Raider and Resident Evil, those are my two favorite. I would say, and I like it, like Mortimus was saying. I mean, you could go on and on and on. Um, Metal Gear is also um, right in my top three.
No.
Because if you take the time to get to know Metal Gear storyline, it's one of the it's one of the
Most
best
fucked up thing
storylines
you've
that
ever
you
seen.
can. It's fucked up, but it's one of the best storylines that you'll ever follow in a video game. Just
Well, let me go get my
everything relates to something
PhD,
else.
because that's what you're going to need to understand some of that stuff.
Man, it's good though. It's good. But yeah, we could go on forever talking about game series. So I'll just leave it at those three.
Alright. Well, I guess I probably got two. And this is kind of hard to pick between, but when I first started gaming, my favorite series back on the NES, up into the PlayStation 2 era, was Dragon Quest, um, or Dragon Warrior over here. Um, 1 through 8, I think I've owned or played every single one of those series. So you want to go mildly obscure in America? That's me. Um, Over in Japan, it was like Final Fantasy. That game would get announced, school shut down, businesses shut down. It was a national holiday because everybody didn't show up for school anyway, so forget about it, right? Um, and then probably for the most recent, it's probably been Halo. That has been just a fantastic series and mythology to kind of go back into, read books and kind of understand that universe. It's not just the games though; it's been the entire series. But yeah, guess it's mine.
All right.
Guess that leaves me. Man, there's a ton of stuff to talk about for favorite series. On the Xbox, of course, Halo. I've played the hell out of Halo. Loved every single one of those games, except for Halo 4. I'm still getting to that soon. Um, favorites in my household have been the Fable series as well, and of course, Gears of War is one of the top 5 favorite games for series in our household here, as well as mine. Some other ones though would be the Ghost Recon games, and I haven't played anything on the 360. Well, not recently, anyways. But the amount of hours I spent in Ghost Recon playing that on the Xbox is insane, and also on the PC before the Xbox. And lastly would be the Stalker on the PC, which became Metro on the kind of evolved into Metro on the Xbox. I love the atmosphere in that game, and the whole world.
Oh yeah,
That's a stretch. but
some of
I'll
their
give it to you.
guys came
Yeah,
from
it's
Stalker
great.
and went over
And
to
I mean, I would
Metro,
mention
didn't
Fallout as well, but of course Fallout's been like I already talked about a bit. Like I just love the post-apocalyptic worlds of Fallout in the Metro in the Stalker series. Just really, really well done.
they? Worlds
So
worlds that in real life we would never survive.
so I got a lot more to talk about, but I think probably the most like looking back, the Ghost Recon games I've probably put the most hours into. Elder Scrolls as well is one that I've played every game of except for Arena. And I've sunk many hours in that as well. I don't know, it's too many to talk about. It's just a bunch of good series out
Hey, you're
there.
kind of taking my thunder here. I still have to go. Talking about every
Uh,
series under the
now-
sun. Save one for me.
Now,
You
since
can't
I
repeat
know
anything either.
Chano is not going to talk about this, anybody find it weird that we've been gaming since the NES? Most of us. No one mentioned the Nintendo series.
If
I
Carno,
thought about
Literally,
Well,
Yeah.
well,
If-
Chano hasn't gotten yet.
yeah,
Chano ain't gonna mention
Oh, yeah.
Chano-
Mario,
Chano's
man.
picking
Mario
Leisure
is my
Suit
all-time.
Larry.
I'm just kidding. It's not going to be a Nintendo
Do
franchise.
you know? Do you not know this man as well as we do, or something? Because he didn't even grade Nintendo. So
Well, I think
Zelda is in a class of its own for me, so there's no need to mention it to me. Zelda is Zelda.
yeah,
I will always buy Zelda games. I don't care if there is. I will always buy Zelda. That's all I need to say.
well, now one of your favorite series from back in the day, you said there wasn't nothing. There is something.
I think if you'd have
Well,
asked 10 years ago, there would have been more Nintendo topics, game pop
Oh,
up.
yeah.
The one that I'm surprised no one brought up, and I still have to go, but I'm not going to bring this up, is Mario. I really am surprised that no one brought Mario up, since that's probably a game that got most of us here into gaming. So, kind of surprises me, and that's one of the biggest franchises in the world when it comes to video games. So,
I stopped
I'm
following
going
Mario
to-
at like Mario 3 though. So
I'm going to
Ouch.
date myself, but I actually started gaming on the Atari 2600 and the ColecoVision, so it wasn't Mario for me.
fair enough.
They had a Mario on that system too.
They had Donkey
right,
Kong
but
on that.
you're talking
system.
about Donkey Kong, and those were not the
ColecoVision, yeah.
games I was playing. I was playing Zaxxon and Burger Time, and
They
all
they
that
licensed
other
out a
stuff.
Mario game to Atari.
yeah, I know.
All right,
Let
but
me
okay.
let me give my series quick before I forget what they are. I'm gonna forget what I had in my head.
How
So-
could you forget? Right.
Well, yeah. I thought of a couple that
Got
that I
his
hadn't really
favorites
initially
now. He's
thought of.
picking up stuff.
I'm picking up. Yeah, as everyone here has multiples, I have multiples too. It's hard for me to narrow one down. But a couple that I want to bring up that hadn't been brought up. One is the Unreal series. When it comes to first-person shooters, and I played most of these on PC initially, the Unreal series, and it still is one of my favorite first-person shooters as far as Twitch shooters go. It is what made me love first-person shooters. it's just one of those games. Unreal Tournament for the original Xbox was also one of the games that sucked me into the console FPS as well. I used to run my own server and everything on my Xbox when I wasn't there, just so my friends could play. It's just one of those games. So yeah, Unreal is one of them. It's not my favorite, and probably my favorite, honestly, it's boring, but it has to be Halo. Similar reasons to what Mortimus. We picked Gears. I had a lot of good times with Gears. Gears is a great series, but I lost interest in the story halfway through Gears 2, basically. So it's hard for me to pick that one. The Halo series has got to be my favorite. It's the game that sucked me into console gaming, and it's never been the same. I mean, once I got Halo for the original Xbox, that was it. Like I was a console gamer from then on. So that's probably it. One other one that would be in the running, but obviously isn't first, would be the Elder Scrolls series. The Specifically Morrowind was the first one that I really got into, and that game pretty much stole my life for a while when that game came out on consoles. So it is what it is. I don't know. It's hard to pick, but Halo's got to be it for me. And I was going to bring this up earlier too, but on our discussion about patches. I completely forgot about this. I had it in my head, but I didn't want to interrupt someone. One great thing about patches now is when there's game-breaking glitches, they can fix it. There was a game-breaking glitch in Morrowind that I encountered after probably 65 hours of gaming in one character, and couldn't beat the story because of it. And I quit and never went back to it. And now at this day and age, those kind of glitches are fixed. There is no such thing as a truly game-breaking story-ending glitch anymore. That's
Yes, there are.
one of the
There's
plus.
some.
Not really. Not for popular games.
No.
Fable 3.
What?
There's a glitch. My character is literally stuck in an area that was introduced due to a DLC. It's a known bug, and they refuse to fix it. They've actually said they won't fix it.
Wow.
Damn.
Tomb
Yep.
Raider, the new Tomb Raider also has a glitch. My daughter was at the very end, and her screen went black, and erased all of her stuff, so she had to start all over
crap.
again.
Wow.
So yeah, I'm
I
not
guess we
saying
say they're not as many as they used to be.
fine. They're not
Like the
completely
Republic on
eradicated, but
Xbox.
typically there aren't game-ending glitches anymore. Especially for RPGs, that people invest a ton of hours in. Typically speaking, there aren't many glitches that'll completely stop you from progressing in the story. And if there is, they typically fix it because you're usually not the only person that encountered it. So
Yeah.
that part is a huge plus to
Fable
patches in general.
Fallout New Vegas was just another piece of shit when it launched.
So, anyways,
Oh
that was
my
a
God.
derailment. Just something I happened to think of when I was going over my series. So, Halo's it for me. It was the game. It still is. It's the one I look forward to. It's not the only series I look forward to, but
yeah.
it's hard to go away from Halo because I've loved every single Halo game that's come out. The only one I haven't played is Halo Wars because I'm not a big RTS guy.
I think there's a demo on the 360 if you're interested.
Nope.
Go watch
Not
the
an RTS guy.
cutscenes.
I don't
If
like
you don't want to play the
RTSs.
game at all, go watch the cutscenes for it. They are masterfully done, and you will not be sorry.
You could probably do that, but I don't play RTS games. I haven't played them in years, and I just don't get into them.
Especially watching the Spartans just destroy the Covenant. Fantastic.
Spoiler. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh please! Oh please!
Yeah.
Spoiler! I
Yeah.
just spoiled the whole game.
Yeah, a spoiler for a game that's been out forever. And another, what's his face?
Snape kills Dumbledore.
Bruce Willis is a ghost. Sorry for ruining that one for
Had
you.
to go there.
Yeah. I don't have any other topics I want to get to. I want to end this podcast before it gets too late. Does anyone else have any last thoughts? Any?
I have a question. For Average.
Yep.
Because
Yes.
Average said he doesn't like first-person like survival horror games. So does that mean that you're not gonna like Alien Isolation?
No, I will go there for Alien Isolation. I'm definitely going there for Alien Isolation. If I could have it my way,
It'd be
there
third
wouldn't
person.
be as many. Yeah,
Yeah.
like it's a trend now to just put everything first person.
Yeah.
Like there's a couple of medieval games that actually look really interesting to me, and then they show it in first person, and my interest dies. It's like it's reserved for shooters for me, and I understand that the immersion is a little bit better for some games in first person, but most first person isn't done correctly because you can see more than just your fucking hands in front of your face. So maybe if they fix that mechanic for me a little bit, it'll be better.
I thought
Um,
that was something that was gonna die on the Nintendo 64. Looking down and not even seeing your goddamn feet. Like
right.
seriously?
So
How
like, and
fat
that's
am I? I can't see my goddamn feet. What the fuck?
so. I'll definitely go there for Alien because I'm an Alien fan. Like I'm a
Hmm.
fan of that franchise and the care that they're taking to recreate the original Alien movie. I have to go there. Like I have to be there to experience it, good or bad. I will give $60 to experience that game. Um, but the rest of them, you really got to get me. And Outlast, while it looks good and I've watched people play it and it seems like a decent game, I know me. I'll get tired of it quick because it's all first person. I actually can get more fear out of a third person game than I can out of a first person game.
All right. Anyone else? All right.
I might have some news that's gonna make average a little giddy.
Yep.
Um, Plex. You know what that is?
Yes, it's been in development. When is it being released?
They just put out something couple days ago. I would like to make you all aware with some very exciting news. Microsoft has approved the development of the Plex client for Xbox One. More
Yeah.
details will be soon.
So they approved the development, which means they're just starting to develop it.
Well, there was an announcement like that about 3 months ago, and
Yeah, I remember hearing this a little bit ago. Yeah.
yeah, there was supposed to be some more information about it post E3 because
There is,
they're
sorry.
part of the ID at Xbox program. So as
hmm
soon as they became part of the ID at Xbox program, until their app is finished, of course they're under NDA because they have access to Connect, they have access to all of the stuff that's in the dev kit, so they can't talk about it anymore until it's actually finished. So hopefully, the next time they do post something, it'll actually be finished. But the DLNA support on the Xbox One is horribly lacking, horribly, and Plex would fix that. So I hope it is soon.
Oh, for people that don't know, it's like a streaming client or something.
Yes.
Yeah.
It'll organize if you have movie files on your computer, on your hard drive. Um, it will take and organize all of your movies. It'll download metadata for all of your movies. It will give you posters and actor bios and all that kind of stuff. Organize it in a way that you can access it from a web browser or use it as a server and broadcast it wherever you want. So as long as you got a wireless access, you can access all of your content.
All right.
It's pretty good stuff. You should look it up if you got a big home theater collection on your computer.
Mine are all Blu-rays, so
Um,
it's not for me.
his his update from a week ago said yes. In fact, my test app is already there. The voice for pause, play, rewind 30, forward 10, and next already work. Um, so it's getting there, right?
Soon, I hope. That'll be nice.
hmm
All right. Any last topics? All right. In that case, I'm gonna call this podcast over so we can all move on. And we'll be back next week on Monday night again, and probably take on a few more of these more large discussion topics that don't really fit into any necessarily, current news. But they're worth talking about when we have time. So I'll probably do another quick topic that you can get to understand where we come from as gamers as well. We'll see. If you have any suggestions, feel free to throw them in the podcast chat. We'll consider everything. So with that said, have a great day or night whenever you're listening to this, and we'll see you next week. Thanks everyone for joining the podcast as well.
Thank you.
Have a good
Bye.
night.
Thank you. Night.
Bye everyone.